Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to work on um, computing the actual arrows, right? So last time we did the color tone computation, and so now we're going to turn that into the arrow so that we can query that. That's going to be fast, and then we're going to move to the front end. So variable. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do to add um, to the schema is we need to add the variables. So we're going to make this a top level on the profile, and it's going to be determination, digestion is the same as determination, cognition, um, environment, motivate or perspective, and motivation. Okay. And then we're going to put these three subfields on each of these. So it's going to give me an error if I try to do this. It's going to say cannot query variables on birth profile. That's because we haven't added it to the schema yet. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to go over into, oh, we're in the client folder right now, so we need to be in the server folder. Let's see. Yeah, actually, we're going to move this under, instead of putting it on just under profile, we're going to move it under human design. Human design right here. And then we're going to add it like this. So we're going to add variable to the human design like that. And I'm gonna hide this for now because I don't need it. Okay. So we're gonna make this query work basically. So human design, we're gonna add variables. And it's gonna be of type variables or type variable. And then we're gonna have a type variable. And then variable is going to have a determination, cognition, environment, perspective, and motivation. So those are the 5 variables that are determined by the 4 arrows that are next to your head. And each of these, so I'm just going to call it variable type now. Maybe not the best name, but we can rename it later if we need to. And actually, cognition is just its own thing. It doesn't have the subtypes. So actually, we're going to call that, we're going to make it an enum. Because there's only 6 types. So there's smell. Oh, we got to capitalize these guys. Smell, taste, inner vision, outer vision, feeling, and touch. So those are the 6 cognitions. Let's see. Maybe I want to make these. I'm going to make these their own things. Okay, so determination is also known as nutrition. So this is going to be, we're going to have a nutrition and then an arrow. Arrow, left, right. Okay. Actually, we're going to call this digestion. And then type environment. Actually, let's restructure this. So let's have like a so right now we're thinking about data types, and we're trying to figure out what kind of data types to use to represent these. So there's a little bit of there's some nuance here, right? Because the top left arrow has two. It has cognition and determination or digestion, and then the other three each have are kind of the same, but each one has a color number, a tone number, an arrow, and then also a type and a subtype. So let's actually just make a generic variable type. I'm going back and forth here, but so here we're going to have an arrow. It's going to have a color, int, tone, also an int, and then it's going to have a type, which is going to be a string, and a subtype, which is also a string. Okay. And I think maybe having, like, yeah, we should use enums, but let's also just make these strings to make our life easier. Okay, so now we've got it on the schema, and then we need to go in and resolve this stuff. So we're going to make it on the profile, on our human design, we're going to add a variables. We're going to make a variables resolver. Okay, so in a GraphQL resolver, there's three implicit arguments that are passed into the resolver. So there's parent or root, and then args, and then context. So we can just be explicit about this for now. Just for, for reference if you're ever like building resolvers and stuff. And root is going to be the thing that's one level up in the tree of like the tree of your data. Args is going to be whatever was passed in as the like as the arguments to the query, and then context is an object that can have things like authorization and stuff on it. We don't actually need either of those, but what parent is going to have here is the human design object that has already been resolved here, right? So we're going to make a new helper method here. Build variables. And here we're going to have parent, but we're going to destructure off of it conscious and unconscious. And what we want is the conscious sun and the node color and tone, right? So we're gonna destructure those things. We're gonna go sun. Wow, that my computer's really lagging because it doesn't really like running my screen cap software. So I swear I have actually been typing. And then I'm going to do the same for the unconscious. Okay, and then off of each of those, we're going to get the color and the tone, right? So I'm just going to type some comments out to help us remember what we're doing here. So color and tone of unconscious sun equals top left creates the determination cognition. Unconscious nodes equals bottom left, and that creates the environment. Conscious nodes equals bottom right. That creates the perspective. And then the conscious sun equals top right, and that creates the motivation. Okay. Give my computer a second to catch up. So what do we want to return from this? We want to return an object that looks like this. So we're going to go back and refer to our typedef go over the variable. So we will return basically this. but in JavaScript and not in GraphQL. So this is what we're going to want to return. Okay. And I think that I want to do these in some helper methods instead of having just like one big function here. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do a const create cognition equals unconscious son. And we're just going to destructure off the color and the tone off of the unconscious son. And then we're going to do this here. Or const cognition, create cognition of the unconscious son. Determination. And so on, right? We're going to just start with cognition though. Okay, so this is actually just going to be pretty simple. It's just a switch statement. Actually, cognition is based only on the tone. It's not actually based on the color. And I'm just going to go back to my notes just to make sure that I'm saying that right. Yeah. Actually, it's not written in my notes. So I'm going to check my book. Or not my book. I'm going to check Isabel Klusik's book on variable. And yes, it is tones. Okay. So we don't actually need the color in here. We just need the tone. And we're just going to do a simple switch. Tone. Case 1. Return snow. Okay. And we're going to return an error. In the default so that we can debug it if we accidentally end up with a tone that's outside of the range of 1 through 6. Okay, so we're just going to proceed like that. It's just, I mean, this is really just mapping data to values. It's not that like easy. It's like not really all that problem solving, but I'm just going to go through it because it's good practice. And it might help somebody down the road. So if you're wondering how these things are calculated, this is how they're calculated. So So the variable type has these 5 properties. And color and tone are just pass-throughs. And then type is going to be if the color 1 is going to be appetite, and the subtype is going to be tone is greater than, wait, I meant less than 4. Let's make that less than or equal to 3. So if it's 1, 2, or 3, it's left. 4, 5, and 6 are pointing right. So tone is less than or equal to 3. Yes, we're going to return consecutive. Otherwise, we're going to return alternating. Okay. Type 2 is taste. Left is open and right is closed. Thirst is case 3. Oh, that should be a, yeah. Thirst, and then left is hot and right is cold. Case 4. Type is touch, calm, and nervous. Six is sound. Left is high. Right is low. And then 6 is light. Direct and indirect. Okay, why is it? Oh, because I didn't write the word return. Okay. Okay. So that's our determination. And I'm just going to collapse these because we don't need to. We're gonna actually use this as a template, but we don't need that. Okay. So So the arrow logic is the same, except we're going to go with environment. So environment 1 is caves, and then we have selective and mixed. Environment 2 is markets. We have internal and external. Sorry, I have ants. I know, it's gross, but yeah. Environment 3 is kitchens. Left is wet, right is dry. Environment 4 is mountains. Left is active, right is passive. Five is valleys. Left is narrow, right is wide. And 6 is shores. And then we have natural and artificial. Okay. Okay, and then environment is done with the unconscious node. And then we're going to do the other two, which is for perspective, create perspective, conscious node, and then const motivation, create motivation, conscious sun. So now we just need to basically make 2 more of these methods. And we're just gonna copy pasta this whole thing here, and gonna do it again. And then we're just gonna go in and fill it. Okay, so for perspective, perspective 1 is survival. Left is community, right is individual. Perspective 2 is possibility. Abilities, and then this is anticipation, and this one is all inclusive. Perspective 3 is opportunities. Power. Opportunities versus criticism. Perspective 4 is need. Specialized versus comprehensive. 5 is probability Left is solutions. Right is states. And perspective 6 is personal. And this is vision or imagination. Out of bounds data, add in at perspective. Okay, and then motivation is our last one. And then we have, so motivation 1 is fear. Communal list versus separatist. Motivation is hope. Theist versus anti-theist. Perspective or motivation 3 is desire. Left facing arrow is leader. Right facing arrow is follower. Perspective 4 is need. Or motivation 4, sorry. Motivation 4 is need. Master versus beginner. Motivation 5 is guilt. Conditioner versus conditioned. And then motivation 6 is innocence. I always spell innocence wrong. Is that right, or is it a C? I think it's a C. And the left-facing arrow is observing, and then the right-facing arrow is observed. Out of that motivation. Okay, so that was a lot of coding to just do in one go without testing anything, but it's all the same logic, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's save that. Close and open the server, and then we'll hop back over to our little doodog here. And then, okay, so these, I say meaning, but instead of meaning, I mean arrow, and then we have type and subtype. And then we're also going to put in our cognition. Oh, it's already here, but it doesn't have all those things. Cognition is just a string. Okay. Okay, I've just got some data flow. Let's console log our conscious profile just to see what this data. There's a lot of, okay. We'll just log this out to see what our data looks like. Oh, undefined, okay. Yeah, okay, so we just don't have the right thing. Define channels, define setters, profile. Oh, right, okay. Maybe we don't actually want to put this on the human design because that's not where our data actually is. So if we think about the data that we're using here, it's actually on let's go over to our query here. So our root query is on our birth profile, right? And that we'd need an input, right? We have that here. Just copy that over. I'm going to change this back to my birth profile data because I know what it should be. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just elevate it to the birth profile. So I'm going to put it here instead of on the human design, because we need access to the data that's one level up. And so we're going to put it, we can get rid of this. We're going to yoink this, and we're going to put it here. And then we can get rid of this. Okay, that worked. So this is all of my variable data. That took a little longer than I thought it was going to, because I was like, oh, it's easy. It is easy, but it's just a lot of typing things out. So let's lose this console log. Make sure it still works. Oh, we logged something out. Okay. Right there. Okay. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. Make sure that we're not logging more than the design date. Okay, sounds good. So we are going to add a variable calculation to server. And push this up to the cloud. Okay, that's a good stopping point for this video. In the next one, we will go and we will add it to the front end, and that will actually be fun. So, see you then.